I was asked actually by Fred Franklin to come over and see if we could put together a play to achieve a couple of things really. One was his concern about domestic abuse and how it's rising in the country, and wanted to support Empower House, and also felt that it would be a really powerful piece of theatre as well, and a good way to promote it.
Fred, talk about your involvement in this then.
I, in retirement, run the Rude Mechanicals and a local theater group. And it's been around since '81, but we brought it back in the last 2 or 3 years ago. And I thought should have a social component. And one of them would be a play for Empower House. And Doris Buffett slipped us some money to do it with. And so we flew Derek over a couple of times, and he interviewed some women, and then he wrote the play from that and sent it back. And we've started rehearsing, and then we're going to put it on.
Derek, talk about the name.
Well, a couple of the women that I interviewed asked me if I knew the reference of Boil the Frog Slowly. And I didn't. It's not something that's common in the UK. And they explained, well, if you put a frog in cold water and boil it slowly, then the frog stays there until it's dead. But drop it in hot water and it'll jump straight out. And it just seemed really appropriate, because the more I talked to everybody who had been involved with domestic abuse, the more they said that's how it works, that you fall in love with somebody or you get into a relationship, they're wonderful, and then slowly over time you actually become the subject of their abuse, and by the time it's happened it feels too late to actually do anything.
As you interviewed the people you did, how difficult was that?
Well, I was very, very aware of the courage it took for them to talk and to talk openly about it, and I found that once they started talking, just everything came out really, the emotions, the feelings and the truth, and that's what I wanted to put in the play, so that people can recognise those truthful moments when they think this isn't right and can do something before they almost become paralysed, because so many of the women who were talking about their situation said that's why the title Boil the Frog Slowly, because they said when they realised what the situation was, they couldn't even think straight and couldn't think about how to actually get out of the relationship.
Fred, as you put this together, what's it like? I mean, you've done a lot of different things in theater. What's this like?
This has been very difficult to deal with because the subject matter is so painful. And so we rehearse about an hour a night, and then the ladies leave, and I just go watch a lot of television because it's very hard to listen to, but very moving, and it has I think a happy ending, and I think they all did escape. They all got through it, and you know, they're alive to tell the story, which I think is nice. And I just think that's part of what theater should do. It should have a social commitment to the community.
What do both of you hope people leave the show with?
I hope they leave and tell other people to see it and tell other people about it, and it just spreads out, and maybe there's a couple of women who are being abused and they then go to Empower House or realize they have to do something, that there is help here available. And I think the ladies from Empower House will talk to people afterwards, and so they can clarify those things and what they can do for them.
Derek, how about you?
Yeah, for me particularly, it was the fact that most of the women who talked to me said their involvement with their abusive partner started when they were young. A couple of them said they were 17, 18, and it went from there. And I hope if we can have a young audience, and that's why I'm delighted we're doing it at the college, that for those young women particularly, or men, can actually recognise the signs early and therefore avoid it, or, as Mr. Franklin said, actually know that there's somewhere they can go, somewhere, a sanctuary for them to escape from.
Have you ever done anything like this before?
Well, in England, I work a lot around those social issues.
Okay.
And in fact, we're going to be doing a piece here on the 1st of December, which is looking at HIV awareness as well. So yeah, in the UK, I do that. And I always believe that collecting true stories is a really powerful way, because they're often stranger than one could ever make up. And it's the truth that really resonates and makes one feel what I call a felt disturbance. If you have that from a piece of theatre, it means that you'll respond to it, react afterwards, and maybe do something
I
different.
want to thank Doris Buffett because she wrote the check, and that's when we were able to get started. And it's much appreciated. I want to remember that. And I think it's been good for the local theater group to get involved in something like this.